Okay, so here what we're going to do is I'm going to go over this worksheet with everyone. Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay, so for the first one, we have 6 times x minus 12 is less than 0. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit with this. Here we go. All right, so remember, just like with inequalities are just like equations in that when you solve them, you want to get x all alone on one side. You want to get x all alone on one side, okay? So from here, we're going to have 6. So can I see that? Oh boy. Okay, something's wrong here. Okay, let me just try something. So I want to make sure everyone can see this. Looks like for some reason. Okay. Now, why is that not showing up? Oh, give me a break. Okay, let me just close this and reopen it. If that doesn't work, then I'll just lecture like usual. And I'll post the solutions. But let me try reopening it. Bear with me. Here we go. Good. All right. Okay, so again, what we want to do is we want to get x all alone. Can't see it. We want to get x now. Okay, so we're going to go through these questions now. Okay. So we want to get x all alone on one side. Remember, it's just like with equations, okay? We want to get x all alone on one side. So I'm just going to rewrite the inequality here, like so, okay? Okay. Now, what am I going to do next? Well, if we want to get x all alone, let's get the 12 out of there. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides. Okay, so let's do that. So by doing that, these cancel, just like in solving an equation. We have 6 times x is less than 10 plus 12 is 22. Now, are we done? Well, almost, right? Almost, because we don't want 6 times x, we want x. No problem, simply divide. Oh my goodness. For some reason, Microsoft Whiteboard thought I wanted a triangle and it drew one, so I had to erase it. So this, geez. So the 6's cancel, and so we're left with x less than 22 over 6, as you can see. So x is less than 22 over 6. Good. Okay, so so from here we can get our solution set, right? We can write it as an interval. And that's what we're going to do. So what do we have? X less than 22 over 6, right? So we have here minus infinity, comma, 22 over 6. Now that is the solution set as an interval. Now, even though I didn't say to draw it, I'm going to draw it anyway. I mean, you really don't have to draw it unless I ask you to. I'm just going to draw it just to give you guys just so you guys would, so everyone, excuse me, would see how you draw the solution set. Okay, so we have minus, so let's draw the number line, right? So what happens? Well, we have 0, just labeling some numbers. 22 over 6 is actually between 3 and 4. 2, 3, 4, okay? So we have 22 over 6. So that's going to be here. Now again, we want to have an open, let me just make that nicer. We want to have an open circle above 22 over 6. So we have an open circle above it. Now, why do we have an open circle? Because we have strict inequality here. And that's why I also use the open parentheses here, as you can see. Okay, good. So what happens next? Well, we're going to draw an arrow pointing to the left. Again, that just means you take all numbers less than 22 over 6. The open circle indicates that we don't include 22 over 6 because we have strict inequality. Okay, that's for the first example. Are there any questions on that? Just gonna move this over quickly. Okay, let me do the next one. I just moved the number line over a bit so I had more room. Okay, so now let me bring it up to the second example, and I'll go through that with everyone. Here we go. So for the next one, the 5x minus 4, okay, so let's do that one. Same idea, right? You want to get x all alone. Okay, you want to get x all alone. So what we have then is this. Okay, so what do? Let's add 4 to each side. Adding 4 to both sides, excuse me. Right, and what happens next? These 4's cancel. You get 5 times x less than or equal to 8. Okay, again, we added 4, right? Because I want to get x all alone. I want x all alone, just like an equation, right? Okay, that's good. Okay, so now what happens? Well, next, we don't want 5 times x, we want x. So what do? Divide by 5. By doing that, the 5's cancel, and we get x less than or equal to 8 over 5. There we go. So that's what we get here. Okay, now, since we have that, we can actually write the solution set. Notice we have inequality, but we don't have strict inequality. So what do we have here? Well, we're going to have 8 over 5. We have a closed bracket next to it because of the inequality symbol. And since x is less than or equal to it, we have minus infinity. Remember, minus infinity is always on the left. Whatever's smaller, it goes on the left. And again, we're including 8 over 5 because we have inequality here. All right, now let me draw the solution set. Okay, so here, I'm going to draw there we go. Now I'm going to draw the number line, as you can see. Okay, now 8 over 5 is between 1 and 2. So we have 0, 1, 2. Now, when you're drawing, it doesn't have to be exactly at 8 over 5, but if it's between 1 and 2, that's good. We have a closed circle over it. Now, this thing would let me draw it. Oh, come on. There we go. Right, we have a closed circle over it. Okay, Microsoft Word was not letting me draw a closed circle for some reason, but we do have a closed circle over it. And notice the arrow is going to point to the left, right? Because we want everything less than 8 over 5. That's what we want. Okay, so that's for this example. All right. Any questions on these? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 and 4. Again, if I go too fast, don't be afraid to say something, okay? Now I really want to make sure everyone understands this. Okay. So for the next one here, we have 2 times x plus 1, right? Minus 3 is greater than this, 4x plus 8. And remember, one of the things you can do when solving these inequality symbols, just like with equations, is you can simplify either side. You know, you can simplify. You are allowed to do that. It's one of the things you can do to solve an equation. Okay, so from here, let's distribute the left. We can distribute the 2, right? Doing so, we're going to get 2 times x plus 2 minus 3. That's going to be greater than 4x plus 8. And now on the left, we get 2 times x minus 1, right? Because 2 minus 3 is minus 1. That's greater than 4x plus 8. Okay, so that's good. That's good.